As a diva in the mix, there's always the option for him to play the Sombra. He was definitely one of the standout Sombras of her heyday. The Outlaws actually have a couple of the progenitors of the newer DPS heroes on their team. Hydration, Doofus, Dante, Sombra, for example. Here come the Shock, though, and they are going to be playing this rush composition with Striker on McCree.
And this is what the Shock were so fantastic at when they had Moth on the roster, right? Of being able to use the Lucio, play this rush-style, brawly. The Super's one of the best REINHARTs in the league, and you just had the aggression from the team. This will be a great McCree matchup as well. I feel like Happy a little bit underrated. Most of the people in North America haven't seen him play because he played with Guangzhou in the middle of the night.
And again, up against some insane teams in that region. Guangzhou never really rose to the highest of heights outside of a monthly tournament win. Here's the Amp Matrix. This is just for Violet. This is such a classic Violet thing to do as well. No surprises. They want him to almost be that third DPS player on the map. Dante goes down to the signature aggression of FD God, and he makes it 2. Happy falls to his hand. Make it 4. Classic FD God, showing that brand of aggression.
And Violet just with a casual Amp Matrix within what felt like the first 45 seconds of the map. It's a scary sight once he starts to get going in terms of what he can do with healing, but even more in terms of the damage output. And this is what I was talking about, taking control of this high ground, getting control of this bridge. If you can take this position, it makes it very difficult for the Outlaws to form a defensive stand. You see they have to wrap all the way around. The Outlaws trying to take the high ground now as well.
God knows how Houston should expect to maintain this high ground control when FD God is on the prowl. He'll just deny the high ground. He'll knock people off more than happily. The Outlaws play together as a group here. Deadeye from Happy, and this is very classic Outlaws. Speed boost, Deadeye, go forward with the Ryan shield. Violet falls down, he'll split for the rest of the Shock, so that's a lot of their healing gone. This might require a sound barrier from FD God to keep them in the fight until Violet returns.
And we'll see if they even want to invest that. At this point, they're going to actually use a Blizzard here, the Shock, to try and keep this going. So it's going to be the sound barrier here, too, for the Shock. So they want to keep investing into this fight. They have Violet coming off the spawn. Juby will use the sound barrier here for the Outlaws, as they only have 3 players up.
Yeah, initially it looked like the Shock weren't wanting to invest too much, but then the Blizzard from Nero came in. It looked like there wasn't enough follow-up on JJANGU. He eventually fell, and then the carry turned up. Violet just rocked up, and almost his aura signaled his presence before physically he was seen. 4 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock. San Francisco, they avoid getting really slowed down on a rather treacherous part of the map for attackers, but the Outlaws are still adamant about getting some high ground control. The cart, though, Matt, it's close to that checkpoint.
Yes, Choi is just moving it solo down on the ground, as that'll be an Amp Matrix coming in for the Shock. This will push the Outlaws down towards the point.
Self-destruct over the top from both sides here. Tricomin gets the Immortality Field of Crimzo. JJANGU low. Oh, that's a shatter. FD God gets caught on the left-hand side, but Super deftly returns and gets that shield where it needs to be. Happy finds Violet once more, and it was a decent shatter from Super, but again, the Batiste really would help with the follow-up. Happy's going to fall to the hammer of Super, but he's on the back foot, as are the rest of the Shock. And not enough space here for Striker to get value out of the Deadeye with Super falling.
It's huge for Happy to be able to get Violet, and he keeps taking these off angles looking for him. And I know the previous fight, we saw that it was Dante who walled off the rest of the Shock. They were able to take Violet out, and in that time Happy on a little bit of an off angle. So Violet's got to be a little bit more careful, taking some of these fights.
Nero probing, has a Blizzard ready to go. Again, needs these Ryans to get much closer before he can get value out of it now. May wall thrown up, hoping to slow down JJANGU. His shield gets in the way though, and now the Shock transitions to the low ground. They're going to force the Outlaws to reposition as well, and this can cause the Outlaws to get out of position. Happy was a little slow to drop down. He wasn't punished heavily for it though. He still lives. That May wall, he's going to try and break this one down, and it could be get another Deadeye from Happy playing up close, but no Immortality Field for Crimzo means this is much riskier than it otherwise would have been. Big shatter. 3 players hit by that shatter, but still the Shock are fortunate enough that the Outlaws can't really push forward. JJANGU goes down, and Happy wants to go aggressive now. They try and get in front of Super, get rid of that shield. It doesn't work out. That's the Immortality Field used by the Shock, but they've lost Violet and Nero. Happy, the menace, finally falls, and Super wants to push forward, but he's running out of health and only has the Lucio for healing. No burst healing available, and that Amp Matrix for the Outlaws is going to make things impossible for San Francisco.
And the Outlaws don't want to push. They back Super up here with FD God, as he'll start to get healed up a little bit slower with just that Lucio in the mix, but they don't want to push right in because they know that Super most likely has a shatter. So Super going to get with the rest of the squad as Happy goes over to the Widowmaker here. So really kind of playing these long sight lines now for the Outlaws.
Yeah, it means Happy probably just plays out from his own spawn or close to. Again, this is an off angle, like we've seen Happy play, and arguably, it's even safer. It means that Striker has to play around Super Shield, and they need info on where Happy is. They know where he is now.
You do lose a lot of shield pressure, though, not having the McCree in the mix.
Striker, though, too afraid to push up there, lest he get his head taken clean off. Couple of headshots, Violet's low. Nero goes down first, though. Happy's found the pick that he was looking for, Matthew. They knew he was there, but still the Widowmaker has paid off. Risky, yes, but now it's a 5v5. Again, Violet's down. Happy's found his second. It's traded up. Those Strikers able to find him way in the periphery, and Dante now needs to hold his own on the point with Piggy. And the self-destruct over the top here. Blizzard thrown out by Dante. Striker and Super quickly clear the area, but oh my! Yep, Striker's a little bit too close to the hammer of JJANGU, and it's a home run for the Outlaws. They've got the players back now, and Chocoban goes in alone while the rest of the Shock get out, but Nero's found Happy.
And you see the position that it puts the Shock in when that Blizzard comes down, and right after it, Super, he's looking towards the card, he sees the players in front of him, but he knows he has players coming on this off angle to the left, coming out of the spawn. This will be walls from Happy, so this will just buy some time, but there's no time left here for the Shock. 18 seconds left and counting on the clock. They do have the Deadeye and they have Blizzard. They just can't let Happy find another pick.
Violet must stay alive here. Picked in the last fight by Happy. The Shock cannot afford to lose 60-70% of their healing in one headshot. JJANGU plays safe. Maywall's both thrown out. Those aren't available now. Striker taking a risk, looking for Happy. Is able to distract him for a time, but that's all he gets. Here's that amplification matrix now, and JJANGU is trying to get rid of Chocoban, who's very, very low, but that's the Blizzard down. Dante has fallen. JJANGU gets frozen up, and the San Francisco Shock might have found their way through. A sound barrier from Juby. It's wishful thinking to try and end the round here, and the gambit does not pay off for Houston.
The Blizzard, and it's just huge for the Shock. Being able to use the Blizzard, they put in a good position, and you saw JJANGU. The Amp Matrix was available for the Shock. They had no Immortality Field, no Maywall, as I believe Dante was pretty low, forced around the corner, and at that point, they just move on forward with Nero's Blizzard, and they're able to take it. So, Shock do stay alive. Not a ton of time, though, to complete the map. This is a very difficult portion of the map. Is Happy not going back to the McCree. He'll go to the Hanzo, so even more shield break potential.
And, of course, the ability to control the high ground a little bit better. Deadeye, okay, this is looking like a Happy impersonation. The Strike was hoping to push forward, but immediately Dante ice blocks. Amplification Matrix now means that Super's in a bit more of a precarious position. Still pushes forward. Oh, what a psycho! The Shock go past the Amplification Matrix now with a sound barrier, and what a play! I don't think the Outlaws were ready for this. They thought the Shock would meekly back away, but they clearly haven't spent enough time with San Francisco. The Shock forge onward, and now the card is awfully close with 25 seconds left in the round. The Outlaws stunned, reeling, now need to find a way to get back and have an attempted defense. Piggy can't touch, he's knocked away, and the Shock finish the map with time to spare. Let's hear from the Shock right now.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't scream, don't scream. No need.
Just, believe him. I'm not panicked.
Good. That's good.
Let's go.
Like sometimes.
So what we actually heard there was a sort of appeal to calm down. I'd say one of their Shock players probably sort of popped off a little bit when they managed to finish the round. They all said, hey, let's just settle down. They're not wrong, Matt. There's still an entire half of this map to play, and the Shock have a very small time game.
Yes, it's still not a ton of time. As we can take a look from FD God's POV. This is what you were talking about at the beginning of the round. I know, being able to finish off. How many did he actually get here?
5 final blows, I think.
It's just a very different look than like having Moth on the team, right? Where Moth is really good at getting the team in position and having them in a great spot to make plays. Or FD God just kind of takes it into his own hands, start making his own plays. The shotgun defense, I'll play May McCree. Nothing too surprising here. I think the biggest thing is, like, what did we see Happy play? Saw him play some Widow, McCree, Hanzo there towards the end. What does he decide to go with here for the Outlaws?
I'm shocked to see the McCree. Happy will still be looking for as many off angles as possible on this first point take. Hanzo, it'll be instead. So it gives you access to the top left and top right high grounds, Matt. How do you feel about this?
Look, Hanzo's great at controlling the high ground if you want. This is just, you're not going to be as strong and tanky in like a very close brawl, but the Hanzo's going to be able to deal a ton of damage to the shields, maybe get an immortality field out early, and you're also going to be able to control the high ground. So
Troy has
definitely a little bit of a different look. Yeah, he has to answer it. Because you can't let this Hanzo just jump over that wall and free fire. You see the position that it's put the shock in. Basically, you have to play in this corner out of the line of sight.
Oh, we got one!
But that's what Hanzo does, right? Just you keep firing in an area, and eventually you're going to hit something.
Happy with a nasty off angle, puts so much pressure on the shock, it forces them to play inside of a shoebox here on point A, and he still gets the kill, despite how careful San Francisco were trying to be. Here's the trade in the front line now, that's an immortality field thrown down, but Crimzo has an early amplification matrix. Violet 2 has a window up, and a shock pierced straight through it now as Super looks to try and get a shatter on towards that Hanzo. It doesn't work out, and he overextends himself.
And if the Hanzo can keep distance, and if the Outlaws can keep the shock a little bit away from them, where they don't get this really close brawl, is a nice headshot to cap it off there from Happy. You like their chances with the Hanzo in the mix. The Dragon will also be a good ultimate to split them off. If the shock want to get aggressive and run in, the Dragon really deters that, splits players off.
Outlaws can find a way to sort of carve the front line of San Francisco away from someone like Striker, Violet. They can cause a lot of problems with that Hanzo. Look at this, very aggressive play. This is the rush comp personified now as Super and Co. wrap around the backhand side. The Dragon, yes, it splits Super away and even claims the free kill on FD God. And now San Francisco, I mean, they look embarrassed. They're out in the open without any clothes on. It could be a disaster, but the immortality field keeps them standing, and JJANGU forced the trick open. This forces Happy way back, but that cart's still moving. Now San Francisco are ones that have driven a small wedge between the Outlaws' compositions, but Happy works his way back through on this right-hand side. He's in danger though. I don't know if Picky was aware that he was going to be chased down, too busy getting rid of Super. Trickhoven goes for the D-suit. He wants a remech desperately here. He gets Crimzo's immortality field with that and is able to get back into the bot, and the kill on Crimzo. Oh, Trickhoven, you're doing something to me, baby. That's incredible.
This will be the shock hitting a hold where it did not look likely at the beginning. And with the Dragon Strike, it connects with them. D-God is Piggy. He'll be in a tough way here on the D to go for a bit of a ride.
He's on the rotisserie mat.
Back.
Yeah, what's the point, mate?
No, I mean, we lose Violet during all of this.
This is what happens, right? Let your guard down for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have your... this will be a Deadeye that comes through. You don't have your Diva for the defense matrix. You almost can't. But still, a really nice shot, though. It just shows like how dangerous Happy is on the Hanzo.
Yeah, Super turned his shield around, I think, to try and get rid of the mini-Diva and cost them. Happy, extremely sharp today. And the Outlaws are doing just fine. 3 minutes and 10 seconds on the time bank as the cart rounds the bend. They're going to take the fight inside for a time here. Maybe look for a way to outmaneuver and again find one of those happy picks that precipitates a winning fight.
Well, watch for the shots to get aggressive though. You know, Amp Matrix plus Sound Barrier, they're going to be close to a Shatter. They might actually just want to take the pace to them here.
I think
we've seen them do
just
before.
Amped healing instead, man. So, no amp speed boost available for now. Be back in a moment. Happy, oh no! Trickhoven, look at him, in this cheeky little position, able to eat up that Dragon Strike. It's not common to see that at all, and yet we've already seen it twice this season. Trickhoven there really takes the wind out of the Outlaws' sails right now, but deflated as they are, they still have an objective. 2 minutes 23 on the clock, and Crimzo's just got that amplification matrix online, and he activates it immediately. JJANGU, oh, was that the bunny hop shatter attempt from Super? He gets four with that, absolutely disgusting. JJANGU now tries to forge ahead and use the May wall, but Dante gets cut down at San Francisco. In the words of Super, pretty swaggy, not gonna lie.
The Blizzard also helps as well. You see Super's face, just the stress of some of these fights is... Yeah,
he's mad.
Maybe putting up an even better fight than they expected here today. Is Happy goes off of Hanzo, goes to McCree now. So this will offer them a little bit more like a sustain and just damage consistent in the brawl. Like we mentioned, like the McCree can play close with the rest of the team, where the Hanzo is not as tanky as McCree would be.
JJANGU managed at least to keep the Earth Shatter from that previous fight. Super almost has another one though, so that ultimate difference may not really be a factor in the end. Now the Outlaws a little bit stymied. Honestly, they're looking for another way in, and right now it might just be Try and find a pick with this. May wall up instantly. Oh, that's a disaster! Nero and FD God both go down. The shock down to 4 players, and immediately Super heads for the heal. Striker trying to buy a little bit of space, a chance to retreat with that Deadeye here, but that cart is getting close, and Violet's immortality field is down. Still, Trichoven's back in the fight now, but this Shatter is blocked. Yeah,
Shatter gets absolutely nothing, but look at the pressure they put on the Super. So that'll be the cart getting across the line. Is when you lose the Lucio and specifically the Mei, right? To have the Mei wall to split them off, slow them down a little bit. They tried to throw everything at it that they could, the shock. You know, they used a Deadeye. Violet was just trying to heal Striker up as much as possible, throw the Rein at it. You got some players back in the mix, but still at that point, the Outlaws had all the control in terms of pace of that fight.
2 minutes remain on the clock here. San Francisco did finish with a time bank, so if the Outlaws can do the same, we'll go back to point A. Super, careful, Shatter. Okay, he thinks the Outlaws are going to get aggressive behind that matrix. They don't. Super realizes the immortality field is down, so the shield goes back up now. He probably can sidestep away from the Blizzard, but sits in the corner with the shield up as he can. He's able to line of sight that ability. But Trichoven, not nearly as lucky. Oh my, Happy! FD God again, punished for being FD God. He tries to go aggressive and has, well, a free haircut doled out. Reverse Mohawk though, you don't get to choose those. Happy, flash, Striker, dead with 2 shots, and Trichoven's too late to the scene to save his teammate.
It's Happy is clicking today, man. It's putting on a show on the McCree or the Hanzo. Are they going to keep this going though? That'll be a defense matrix, beautiful there from Choi. I believe that's keeping Violet alive as Violet's trying to get back to the rest of the team, but he'll end up getting D-Mac. Deadeye comes in here from Striker.
Oh, Violet's down. The Deadeye might not matter here, Matt. Well, it hardly buys any space.
Right, Choi's just died right now, so look at where the card is. If you're the Outlaws, you think about maybe, yeah, look at JJANGU playing this corner. You have a self-destruct, you have a Shatter here, a lot of ultimates to get this across the line with a better time.
Dante gets frozen there, or at least forced to ice block at some point. Nero's going to go around the right side and go for a Blizzard, but the McCree stun was there. Still, he's going to go forward now and try it anyway. Self-destruct over the top, claims Violet again. Piggy getting some extremely high value single kills from that self-destruct. Kills that he really shouldn't be getting, and a Shocker definitely agreeing with that right now. 24 seconds left with the sound barrier. He's going to catch the health pools nicely. They are 1 second ahead of San Francisco, and Time Banker could not be any closer.
I was going to say, this is literally as close as you can get. I mean, within a second of each other. Fantastic plays from Happy. He's just putting on a show, really, kind of taking it to Striker. But I also think we haven't talked to anything really about Houston's support core. I feel like Crimzo has had a really good game thus far. You know, being able to stay alive, good immortality fields. When the Blizzards come down, specifically there, the last one at the end from Nero, he's able to stay on the outside of it with Happy, you know, keep everybody alive. Good immortality field during that. So the Outlaws support line, it's not like their flashiest part of the team. And it's the one I think most people were probably worried about coming into the season, but so far, Juby and Crimzo have looked quite good.
Conversely, San Francisco's support line, you think is probably one of the most hyped up parts about this team, if it's even possible. Violet, obviously, you know, is an MVP standout potential player, ranked 1 in the world as far as Watson's concerned, and FD God was considered somehow to be an upgrade over Moth. Yet, both those players are being punished for those signature aggressive moves because Happy does not let them do what they want to do. And he finds headshots as soon as one of them peeks their head out of the bunker. It's like whack-a-mole, and I mean, this guy is getting all the tickets in the arcade.
It's just a change of play style for the shot. You're not used to having a really aggressive main support where you kind of have a pretty aggressive flex support with Violet. Now that they both are pretty aggressive, like how do you play around this? You know, does FD God start to try and, you know, curve himself a little bit in more to try and play a little bit more like Moth and only kind of make those crazy plays when he knows he can be and do it safely? As you lose Violet at the beginning of this via Crimzo.
Yeah, there it is again. You know, losing one of your backliners really early. Happy does the lion's share of that damage, but the Outlaws take a fairly aggressive high ground position, and it worked out for the most part here. Yeah, Striker finding that kill doesn't really amount to too much in the end, but Matt, you know, FD God, if he curbs that enthusiasm, so to speak, is he even himself anymore? That's the question. He can't get in his own head. He might have to adjust slightly, but it's 10 seconds left, and it's do or die now for San Francisco.
You see Dante hiding in the corner, uses the Mei wall. He would have liked to split at least one player off, but Shock gonna get around the corner. Choi will get the touch.
Now Happy's on the flank as well. That could be dangerous over time. Secured for San Francisco. Empty God picking over the top, and Super gets topped back up. Dante wants to try and cut him off with the rest of his team, and it works perfectly. He's looking like a statue right there. Can't move a muscle and is taken down. Deadeye from Happy claims the kill on Troy Coburn and the Outlaws. They bend like saplings. They do not break. They receive the push from San Francisco, and they whip back at him. That's a desperation, Blizzard, and frankly, it's just not enough.
So the Shock don't get any percentage there on A. If you're the Outlaws, obviously about the same time, a minute and 1 second. What do they play the Hanzo again? Do you play McCree? I actually would like the Hanzo here, personally. Right. I think the Hanzo in this type of situation, where you need like if you can get a pick, you essentially feel like you win the round. If he gets up on the high ground, even if he doesn't get the pick, he forces Choi away from Super, which could give them an advantage in terms of the brawl.
Well, it means they can't prolong the life of the Reinhardt shield because the defense matrix is being aimed elsewhere. And I think if you're the Outlaws and you really trust Happy, there's probably a sense of inevitability about whether or not you'll get that pick. Now, if he goes towards the McCree, it might just mean that the Outlaws want to play a little bit more compact and, again, a little bit more conservatively. I know Outlaws fans would love to see them go for something here, but I mean, going up 2-0 against San Francisco Shock at any point in the league's history in the last couple of years is such a huge feat. I don't know if they just want to throw that opportunity away.
Well, that's the argument, right? Do you play it safe and just kind of stay the course and go for it? Or do you kind of try something a little bit, different, right? Playing that Hanzo just like they did on the first attack. And maybe they get a pick, and that pick kind of secures them the win. You take the first snap, you're like, oh, well, we're kind of playing with house money. But like you mentioned, going up 2-0 against the Shock, you're going to probably play standard and just try and get that done. It's not like Happy's McCree has been significantly worse than when he was playing the Hanzo. He's been crazy on both.
Absolutely. And the Outlaws try not to pinch themselves right now and just focus on the task in front of them. That is one tick on point A in 36 seconds of play. FD God checks the periphery just in case there was a Hanzo in the mix, but no. The Outlaws are playing together in a death ball style. And we'll have to wait and see which of those amplification matrices comes online first. They could be the deciders in this next fight, Matt. Oh, Crypto's down! There won't be one at all from the Outlaws. Disaster strikes here, and Houston are on the back foot in a big way. The Shock are going to run them down, Matt.
And they're backing up, but they're probably not even going to get another fight out of this, potentially. It's going to be very difficult to get to the point. It's an amp matrix, and Maywall has to come in from Dante. It'd be Piggy who gets over the wall, gets a touch.
Houston are able to circumvent the amplification matrix right now, but look
at Happy.
The Batista's just rejoined them right now, but they've lost Piggy's mech as a result. Can they recover from this? Happy getting pressured by Trick Open, and the pincer comes in, and the Outlaws are taken down. San Francisco able to hold on here. That is impressive stuff indeed. And now it'll just be a matter of cleaning up. Neither team, Matt, is able to get anything done, and we have a draw in our second map.
Losing the Batiste, really for either team, is brutal there at the start of a fight. No immortality field, especially because Crimzo was so close to that amp matrix. No amp matrix either. Is that what they're really, both teams are playing around at that moment in time? They're both just letting their Batiste just fill up in terms of ultimate, put down the amp matrix, start that fight off, and not have Crimzo there. Really just stops the Outlaws' attack before they could even get started.
And look, it's a sigh of relief for San Francisco, Matt, but coming into this series, they wanted so much more from these first two maps to be going into the break after map 2 with nothing on the scoreboard has got to bother them a huge way. Fire in the